For as long as I can remember, the world has terrified me. Noises, voices, people, movement, the frantic dance of life. I've been told that the day I was born, my mother refused to hold me, even to look at me. She left without me, and I was placed in the care of strangers. For the longest time, those and other strangers tried to figure out what was going on inside me. I closed my eyes, I covered my ears, I did not speak. More strangers, more people, doing all they could to see what lay behind my eyes, but I was not there. Later, the world forgot to busy itself with me, moved on, forgot the girl who was not there, and I slipped away, unnoticed from the world. I slipped so far, I slipped between the cracks, between here and not here, between there and not there, between something and nothing. I withdrew from the world in fear of something I never understood. I stepped so deeply into shadows that people barely noticed my existence. As the years passed, my invisibility became part of me, and now, though I can spend a minute or an hour or a day with someone, just as soon as their attention is stolen away from me, for even a moment, they forget me, as if they'd never known me, as if they'd never shared a moment of their life with me. I become a stranger as soon as we say goodbye. Being forgotten was something I had become used to. It was almost comforting in a way. But then, she was there. I had known her for 13 months and 7 days, and that day was to be the last time we would ever meet, and the first. This was always how it began. She would sit alone in her window seat, the perfect place from which to see life passing by in all its random, noisy, self-obsessed confusion. Can I sit here? This was always how it began. Fear would choke me. Fear of saying too little, too much, saying the wrong words in the wrong way. Fear that she would look at me as a stranger, as she did every time we met, and then look away. Fear that all we'd been, all that we had shared, the 13 months and 7 days, would slip away from memory, as easy as a hot cup through shaking, sweaty hands. This was always how it began, but that day was to be the day that it ended. That day we would speak one more time, laugh one more time, and then she'd be gone. Before then, I hoped to sit with her one last time, to have her see me as she always had. One last time. Our seemingly new conversation flowed easily. She spoke of her art, her family, and her life. I laughed with her, and because of her. It was a magical afternoon. Then fate threatened to take her from me all too soon. No! There was nothing more I could do or say, other than tell her the truth, that I had known her for 13 months and 7 days. I told her how every night when she left, the very moment she left, she forgot that I ever existed, that I became less than a shadow. I continued to speak, to tell her of my curse, as a desperate last attempt to hold her attention before my very existence blew away like dust in a storm. I told her of my life, my pain, how I became the girl that everybody forgot, how I became an eternal stranger, as I had become to her so many times each time we said goodbye. She asked me whether we were friends. I told her yes. She asked me what I wanted most in the world, and I told her that I wanted to walk in the world with somebody who knew I was there, and she smiled. And that's what we did. And just like that, the world turned inside out, and I found myself on the inside looking out. My heart was beating so furiously, I felt it might explode. We walked arm in arm into the world, and for the first time I could remember, I felt alive. We sat, and she asked me if she could draw me, and I said yes. but I was scared to tell her she'd drawn me before, many times. I just sat, and she looked at me, saw me. When she had finished, I asked to see what she had drawn. It was beautiful, made me seem beautiful. But then she flipped the pages, saw page after page pictures of me, pictures she had had no memory of drawing, but which filled her book. I was there, time after time, and it shocked and confused her. She knew then that my curse was real, that our lives had touched so many times, and that each time she had forgotten. She was hurt knowing that she would once more forget me, but wanting to find a way to make it not so. We walked together, caught up in the lie of hope. All too soon we were back in the place where it all began, and her eyes were alive with hope and determination. We would find a way. And then, in her excitement, she forgot. She ran to buy cake to celebrate our day and our fight for the future, and in the moment she was gone forever. I looked back once to see her smiling, though I knew she had no idea why she was so happy at that moment. The pain of hollowness filled me, and yet I realised that this one day would have always existed, will always have been real. The warmth of her hand in mine will remain. The precious hours we shared will remain as a whisper in the quiet part of her soul, and her secret smile, without knowing why, will be the whisper offered in return.
Remember my name. I can't believe the lips I knew, those lovely eyes, so soon forgot to speak or fail to recognize. Remember my name. Remember my voice, for every word you speak has echoes you don't know. The circles spread around each careless stone you throw. Remember my name. Someday perhaps you may replay an unspecific video and see this face you thought had gone and left no trace. Remember my name, for everything we do is carried through the air, shoots into space and then returns, so have a care.